Were you looking down to the 1618 Fibonacci retracement on Bitcoin? Looking over here, it's right beside me. It's right in this area. Bing, 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 bing. Did the prices get there? Well, actually, they didn't. Could that be where the prices end up going to? Are we going to see more negativity on this one? That would really suck, wouldn't it? It would, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. Couple of little nuances here for us. This is the 4 hour time frame. Not as easy to see necessarily as it is on the 1 hour time frame. How, in actual fact, this hasn't started to trend up at all after that malaise of price action. Now, what has happened here is that we've seen the prices drop down so suddenly that the 50 simple has curved right down, having been previously on a nice upward slant on it, and come in and crossed over the 200 simple here on the 1 hour time frame. Will we see some sort of retest of this? Well, I'll keep my eye out for the 50 simple time frame, 50 simple moving average. If we do continue to go down the way, that 1618, by the way, is on a Fibonacci retracement from up above. It was a target till we looking down here if we were to be coming down the way. On the other hand, you've still got this Fibonacci I've left on here, which shows the movement from the highs to the lows and where we've come so far. 45,000 actually is the 236. So really, in terms of this movement, if I was to be looking down towards this region where the 1618 retracement was coming in at, and I was looking to aim towards that zone, then I'd be managing my risk here clearly at that 45k area where the 236 is, because that's also got confluence with where our last low was. And then of course that would form part of a trend where you've got a function where you have a low followed by a lower high followed by a lower low followed by a lower high, so on and so forth. And you'd be asking questions then, first off at 44,000 or 43,900, but I say 44,000 for your next move if that was the case. So you're looking at another $900, another $900, another $900, and it's that sort of attrition that can lead down to these points down the way. If we were looking then and saying, well, how would we get a recovery on this one? Maybe we want to actually kind of see, well, hey, do we have something like this? And we do at the minute. This is, of course, known as bullish divergence. You look at the lows in the RSI and you see that they are not as low. The MACD here is exactly showing us the same thing. We don't have loads of momentum carrying us down here, really, not loads of momentum carrying us down here compared to the momentum that took us down as far as we came initially, but I think that's self-evident in the size of those candles, etc., that happened. There's a couple of nuanced things which are worth pointing out, by the way, while we're here. Just for example, the fact that the stochastics doesn't have that, and we are that bullish divergence, and we are looking here at having a turnaround in around about the 60 zone. Now, if you're talking about this one, this is something that's kind of like you're not going to see it every day, but if you've got movements that come in and turn around at this type of point here of the 60 zone, like you can see over here, when you've got movements coming in around about the 60 zone, you just want to be cautious. It's the same sort of thing as when we talk about the oversold, overbought territory on the RSI. So just to show you what I mean real quick here, looking at this one, if the RSI were to come up to the neutral territory, because we've been down here in the oversold territory, when you get into this region between the bullish control zone and the neutral line, this is actually becomes your overbought territory. Right? That's what that is relatively, not here. You're actually looking to that zone for that in this scenario. So we're down here already, and that's what you'd be looking for. Well, isn't it interesting to see that there isn't that bullish divergence and we're at that oversold, overbought territory on this relativistic, measure in terms of like when you've done one, what does it look like next? That sort of little nuance. Anyway, as it stands right now, is it possible to be bullish on this thing? Well, yeah. I mean, all you need to do is go up to something like the a really, really, really big time frame. A really big time frame. So all you need to do is go up to something like the 12-month time frame, for example. There you go. Then it's easy to be bullish on it. Working back down the time frames, though, you're seeing that this is clearly very bullish and looks great. We're up above the 50% line of our Donchian channels. Interesting, actually. I'll leave this Donchian channels on for us. But until such times as the prices are up above, there, wow, things got messy quick, didn't they? Until such times as the prices are up above 65,000, we'll remain cautious in terms of this trend. This trend being the one that's been over the period of many years, on the monthly time frame. Dropping down the weekly time frame, just got a little bit of a kind of concern with this little bump here, the high, the bump here that was looking like, you could have even have had a head and shoulders on the weekly at this point. We've undone that damage. We're up above the 50% line. That's really starting to look quite good. And it's at this point here that I think that it's probably worth pointing out this area of price action. It's not a fractal. It is an explanation that's coming up. So a stupid and lazy person that doesn't understand technical analysis has no intention of doing so and only simply wants to, make personal income off the back of, lying to an audience about what they know and what they don't know and pretend to be better than they are, might call this a fractal over here in the price point. The price action that dropped down in it around about September. I'm going to kind of talk about something in around about here, but just drop down to the 24-hour time frame first to be able to make this point. Hide the drawings again because they're so messy. And look to where's August, September. There we have it, right? So here's a high for us. Now, this is a period people often ask about Wyckoff distribution, yada, yada, yada. Here's another Wyckoff type example, I suppose. We had this bearishly divergent high up here, bearishly divergent high up here, big movements, big drop down in price, measuring this out from the drop off point down to where we came, sort of 20%, from the high at the time in the market down to where we went, it was 21%, sort of 20% drop down. And then afterwards we moved up a wee bit, came up above the Donchian channels, and then we put in a higher low, right? So we started to trend. We started to trend at this point and started to trend, and actually we never really looked back after that point. But there was this moment here, not taking out our significant lower area and then moving up and starting to trend was very important. So this is not some sort of fractal bullshit, because as you can see already, it doesn't look anything like it at all whatsoever. And it's on a far bigger time frame. But look, we didn't really push down past this area and start to trend down then. We have come up here past, was it like easier in the weekly time frame to show this? Yeah. So essentially, we didn't F up our Donchian channel zone to the downside, really. And we've moved up above the neutral line. Now we've pulled back down again. And the result of this pullback, actually, that's happened just there now, has been 20%. So a big deal just in there. A big deal, of course, but we're aware that we can cope with 20% price action moves and continue to trend towards the top side. And those are the components that I was bringing from the past into the future to make that comparison. Absolutely nothing like a fractal at all in any way. Just wanted to point that out. So anyway, we're above that 50% line. It's not looking too bad, but at the same time, could be hell a lot better. That's your Bitcoin technical analysis for you, long and short term. Things that you might want to know about, though, that actually do matter. How about that? Well, there's something that everybody in the world is probably going to be looking at. Here is a golden cross that's about to happen on the Bitcoin charts, right? We've had a death cross. This happened following on from the crash, from the May crash down here. Then we put in that ultimate low right when the 50 started to kind of turn around here. Having had that death cross, we came up, we didn't test the 50. We tested it kind of a few times just there. Then we properly tested it, smashed on through. Over here, what's happened? We've come back to retest it since properly for the first time since breaking through it. For the first time since breaking through it, we've come back to retest it. It's resulted in a 20% drop down in the prices from where they were, and we're coming in for a golden cross. This golden cross could happen with the prices still kicking about that area where the cross is happening at. Significant, being closer to the price action, to the cross during it means that you maybe not necessarily need to have a significant pullback up towards it. You'll notice here that the body of price action was down here, but when the cross came in, we were right next to it, meaning that we didn't need to immediately rise up and test it. We've basically done that in that sense already. We can see examples of this throughout time if I just go looking for them. Here we are, and you can actually go looking for them. You can go looking for them. Cross, price action towards 50. Cross, price action towards 50. Cross, price action at 50. This was straight down thereafter in that death cross. Cross, price action, not at it, moves towards 50, eventually tests it, and this signified the end of it because it didn't test it so quickly. Over here, other example. Anyway, it could go on and on and on and on and on and on. I'm going to not do that. That was some technical analysis for you. Hope it helped you. Rocky Outcrop here. If it wasn't what you wanted to see, well, all you need to do is come back and ask me to do what it is that you want to do. This is the very, very best technical analysis out there on this topic, right? By the way, this is cryptocurrency technical analysis. I'll just be honest with you. I'm probably the best, if not the best. Eric Crown of Crown's Crypto Cave is the best. If not, Mitch Ray, he's the best. One of us three is probably the best. After that, I'm not too sure. Okay, I'm not too sure, but we're the good ones. It's us three. And if you like either of those two, maybe you might like their personalities more or less than mine. Whatever. I'm not bothered, by the way. I'm just saying that this is highly valuable content. Hit the like button, share it with your friends, and if you're looking for somebody to add to those ones you watch, then I'm your man.